Northern California in the late 1960s was a place of contradictions. A generation embraced peace, love, and psychedelic rebellion. Young people filled the streets of San Francisco in search of something brighter, a world free from war, conformity, and the weight of their parents' era. It was the age of Woodstock, of the moon landing, of new dreams taking flight. But in the shadows of this so-called enlightenment, something cold stirred. A presence, a predator. While thousands flocked to Haight-Ashbury, a different kind of message emerged, not painted on protest signs or sung through guitars, but carved into corpses and mailed to newspapers. It started with a shooting, then a cipher, then a letter, and then a name. Zodiac. He didn't just murder. He wanted to be known. He wanted fear. He wanted a legacy. He communicated not just through bullets and blades, but through symbols, puzzles, and riddles that would baffle the nation for decades. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer, one of the most elusive, arrogant, and chilling figures in American criminal history. His true identity may never be known. His crimes may never be fully counted. But his voice, scrawled in ink and signed with a circle and cross, has never stopped echoing. The 20th of December, 1968, just 5 days before Christmas, 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen were on their very first date. Clean-cut, polite, and bright, they were the kind of kids you'd find in church pews or yearbook photos. That night, they drove David's mother's station wagon to a popular lover's lane along Lake Herman Road in Benicia, a quiet town nestled in Solano County. By 11 p.m., they were dead. Betty Lou lay just outside the vehicle, 5 bullet wounds piercing her back. David was found slumped near the car, shot once in the head at point-blank range. No signs of struggle, no sexual assault, no robbery. The weapon, a .22 caliber semi-automatic pistol. Police had no suspects, no motive, no reason to believe this was anything more than a tragic, isolated killing. But they were wrong. This was not the end. It was just the beginning. 7 months passed. On the night of the 4th of July, 1969, America's Independence Day, another couple parked beneath the stars, just a few miles away from the previous crime scene. Darlene Farron, 22, was a lively waitress and mother of 1. She'd come with a friend, 19-year-old Michael Majot, to the quiet parking lot at Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo. Sometime around midnight, a car pulled in behind them. The driver turned off the engine. After a minute, he drove off only to return minutes later. This time, he exited the vehicle. He approached with a flashlight in one hand and a Luger pistol in the other. Without speaking, he opened fire. Darlene was shot 9 times. Mike was hit 4. Miraculously, Mike survived. Bloodied, terrified, and disoriented, he provided the police with the first eyewitness account. A white male, stocky build, perhaps in his early 30s, about 5'8", short brown hair, dressed in dark clothing, methodical, silent. But the true revelation came 40 minutes later, when a call came in to the Vallejo Police Department. The voice was calm, almost polite. "I want to report a double murder. If you will go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway, you will find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye." The call was traced to a payphone just blocks from the station. No fingerprints, no witnesses, no chance to catch the caller. But police had now realized this was no random act. A serial killer was at work. The cipher, known as the 408, was cracked not by police, but by a high school teacher and his wife Donald and Betty Harden of Salinas, California. What they uncovered was chilling. "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all. When I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and all that I have killed will become my slaves." There was no identity, no name, only a declaration of philosophy twisted, narcissistic, and inhuman. He wasn't just killing, he was creating mythology. On the 1st of August, 1969, 3 newspapers, the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Examiner, and the San Francisco Chronicle received nearly identical letters. Each began, "Dear Editor, I am the killer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas and the girl on the 4th of July." The letters provided grisly, precise details of the murders ones only the killer could know. But each letter also included something far stranger, a third of a cipher. When combined, the 3 sections formed a 408-character cryptogram. The killer demanded the cipher be published on each newspaper's front page, or he would strike again. He insisted that his identity was hidden within the symbols. He signed off with a symbol never seen before, a circle with a cross running through it like the sight of a rifle scope. 3 days later, he sent another message. "This is the Zodiac speaking." With that single sentence, he branded himself not just as a murderer, but as a figure of legend, an identity built around games, taunts, puzzles, and manipulation. The 11th of October, 1969. This time, it wasn't young lovers. It wasn't remote countryside. It was the heart of San Francisco. Paul Stein, a 29-year-old cab driver, picked up a passenger near Union Square. The fare asked to be taken to the Presidio, a wealthy neighborhood. But at the corner of Washington and Cherry Streets, Paul was shot once in the back of the head. The killer tore off a piece of his shirt, wiped down the cab, and calmly walked away just as a group of teenagers witnessed the aftermath from a nearby window. They described the suspect as a white male, stocky, 30s or 40s, wearing glasses. Police responded, but a radio dispatcher had mistakenly reported the suspect as black. Officers passed the real killer on the street and let him go. The Zodiac now escalated. He sent a letter to the Chronicle containing a piece of Paul Stein's blood-soaked shirt. He threatened to shoot school children, to bomb school buses, to wipe out a school bus some morning. Just pick off the kiddies as they come bouncing out. The city panicked. School buses were escorted by armed police. Parents kept children home. The media ran his threats in bold headlines. The killer, meanwhile, reveled in the fear. He continued sending cryptic letters, mocking police for their failures, claiming to have killed more victims. Some letters included new ciphers, some never solved. Others included maps, others demanded attention. But the true face of Zodiac remained hidden. In one letter, Zodiac claimed to have murdered 37 people. Only 5 victims have ever been confirmed: Faraday, Jensen, Farron, Stein, and Shepard. But others like Cherry Jo Bates in Riverside in 1966 have been linked by speculation, letters, and symbolic evidence. Her murder was brutal, her throat slashed, her hands defensive. Months later, letters signed by the confession arrived. Some suggest Zodiac may have started earlier than thought. Then there was Donna Lass, a nurse who vanished from Lake Tahoe in 1970. A Zodiac-style postcard was sent weeks later, implying his involvement. Some believe his true count may be much higher. Others believe Zodiac was inflating his reputation, feeding off the infamy. Hundreds of suspects were investigated. Few stood out. But one name rose above all: Arthur Lee Allen. He lived near Vallejo. He owned a Zodiac brand watch. He had a fascination with ciphers. He had a criminal record. He matched the physical description. He was reported saying things eerily similar to the Zodiac's letters. Police searched his home, found guns, bomb-making materials, dead animals, disturbing tapes. But there was no definitive evidence. His handwriting didn't match. His DNA didn't match the partial samples lifted from envelopes. He died of a heart attack in 1992. No charges were ever filed. Other suspects have come and gone: Gary Post, Earl Van Best Jr., Rick Marshall, each with their believers and critics, but none conclusively tied to the crimes. In 2020, 51 years after its arrival, the 340-character cipher, known as the Z340, was finally cracked by a trio of amateur codebreakers using powerful computers and modern decryption tools. It read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber, because it will send me to paradise all the sooner." There was no name, no confession, just more bravado, more mockery. Even in silence, he found a way to speak. Decades have passed. Files have yellowed. Detectives have retired. Suspects have died, but the case remains open, unsolved. The Zodiac Killer is more than a person. He is a symbol of obsession, fear, arrogance, and failure. He became what he wanted to be, remembered, not through the number of victims, but through the mystery, the terror, the idea that he might still be out there, watching, smiling, and waiting. Because in the game of the Zodiac, the rules were never fair, and the ending never written.